We're going all the way out to the West Coast this time to talk about Nation Extreme Wrestling's Final Testament and what could have possibly been one of the greatest matches we've seen across all companies in quite some time. All this and more coming up on tonight's Ring Respect Radio. Stay tuned. Boom, just like that. It's Thursday night, and you all know what that means. It's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man sitting right beside me, you know him. He's the man with the angelic voice. He is Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Well, I'm doing great, Munson. I'm always glad to be here on every Thursday evening on Ring Respect Radio to talk some wrestling with my buddy, Bobby Munson. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about tonight, including a new Canadian company that we're going to review and cover.
You bet. Love covering these Canadian companies. It's been a hell of a lot of fun, and this chat's already a hell of a lot of fun. They're popping on a Thursday night for us, Papa Smokes. Happy to see them here. Starting off with Zach Minger, always coming in with what International Day it is, and he's telling us International Beer and Pizza Day, Papa Smokes. Oh baby. They're talking Video Bros language right there, Zach. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. You know what? I'm going to ask this question to the chat in a moment. So hang tight, chat. We're going to come to your hellos here first. But after we get through your hellos, I want to know, what is everybody's favorite type of pizza? So keep that in mind. Get those answers in. Saying hello to our friends, Prairie Pro Wrestling. We're going to talk about you guys in just a moment. Hang tight. Andre C. joining us up in the house saying, what's up, party people? Papa Smokes and Bobby. And Bobby comes in after. We got the Mangler joining us up in the house. Hello, gentlemen. Another awesome Thursday. Thank you for being here. Always appreciate you here, my friend. Bastard coming in. Papa Smokes, he says. And also a good evening, handsome Jets back at you, Bastard. We've also got the BDJ up in the house.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas? Oh, man, is it ever a party here tonight? Loving it. Keep that energy high. Keep those comments coming in all night long. We're happy to have a fun time with you, our live interactive chat. Andre saying his favorite type of pizza is pepperoni and bacon pizza, Papa Smokes. How about yourself? What kind of pizza is Papa Smokes' choice of pizza?
Well, not to talk about toppings right off the bat, but I'm currently very enamored with a new pizza place in Saskatoon that makes Detroit-style pizza with a thick but very light and airy crust. And there's all kinds of great toppings. They all go good on that. That's my boys down at Paradox Pizza on Broadway in Saskatoon. Not too far from our PPW venue. Really awesome. Good beer, good guys, good pizza. That's where I like to go.
Fantastic. Always going to plug those good local vendors here on the show because we love to support them. And Zach Minger saying pepperoni pizza is his jam. That's a good choice as well. I don't know if there's not too many bad choices in my mind, but BDJ saying Paradox is the best.
Yes, he knows.
I'm a fan of the fully loaded pizza there, Papa Smokes. I love me a little bit of everything. Get all those veggies, get all those meats, mix them all together. Slap them on a good old pie with a few different cheeses on there. Chef's kiss, absolutely delightful in my opinion.
Got to agree. Got to agree with that one, Munson. Some of these places don't put enough stuff on the pizza. I like to get it loaded up as well. Give me some meat, baby.
Yeah, that's right. We got Bret Martinez up in the house joining the party here.
Yeah.
Bret, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate you being here, my friend, as well, too. We're just talking currently about people's favorite pizzas. Hold on here. We got BDJ saying one bite. Everyone knows the rules. So Papa Smokes,
You know it, Munson.
You mentioned Paradox, right? And you mentioned
Yes.
the location of where they're found. And they're found right around the corner from somewhere. And I'm going to talk about that somewhere. As we say, the Bret saying pepperoni sausage is all you need. Pineapple on a pizza is sacrilege. I know that debate's out there, but I don't know, man. I can do pineapple on pizza. It doesn't bother old Bobby. But what I will say is that Paradox is right around the corner from a little venue. A little venue we like to call the Cosmo Senior Center, Papa Smokes. And it's going to be the host, once again, of Prairie Pro Wrestling presents the Ring of Horrors 4. It is the Steel Cage Challenge, as the challenger, El Asesino, is going to be locked inside the cage with the champion, Michael Allen Richard Clark. Yes, it's going to be an absolute great night of mayhem. And this time, guess what I get to say this time, Papa Smokes? The seats are all sold out. General admission, standing room only. Pre-sale tickets are now sold right out. If you are one of the very few fortunate people that is going to stand at the door and hope to get a ticket, you better show up pretty damn early, because there's going to be a lot of sorry souls that are turned away that night that did not get their tickets in advance. That place is going to be packed. It is going to be popping, and there's going to be pizza afterwards, I'm sure, from Paradox for all those crazy drunks that are coming out to the show.
Oh, hell yeah, man. And I can't wait for this. The closer we get to it, I start to salivate a little bit. And it's not just this pizza talk. I want to see more PPW action. I want to see the PPW Nation. And Munson, can you imagine what it'll be like when that cage is set up in there, ready for the big championship match? I mean, you've seen big matches live before in arenas and stuff like that. There's that special feeling, that excitement, that big fight feel, that slight tingling along the arms and the hair standing up a little bit when you realize, oh shit, I'm going to see some amazing wrestling tonight, and it's going to be a historic night because that championship is up for grabs. You know that both wrestlers are going to be going for that gold hard inside that steel cage. I can just taste it already. It's awesome.
It's going to be a hell of a time, Papa Smokes. You know it. It's going to be popping all night long, and not just that matchup, but every matchup that ends up on that card, including the Costume Battle Royal, including the Tag Team Championship match that I'm sure will find its way onto that card that night, and every match on that night will be there. We are going to have a lot more information and a lot more coming up for you on our Prairie Pro Wrestling Ring of Horrors 4 preview show, which you're going to be able to catch live right here on Thursday, the 23rd, 2 days before the Ring of Horrors. We're going to be right here talking all things Prairie Pro Wrestling Ring of Horrors 4 in the lead up to it. But next Thursday, Papa Smokes, next Thursday, I'm cooking up some more PPW fun, because next Thursday, we're going for a little trivia night, and it is 100% Prairie Pro Wrestling themed across all questions throughout the entire night. So I encourage people to participate. If you're a PPW fan or you're just a fan of pro wrestling, you're going to be able to have some fun doing that throughout the night. BDJ saying, Munson, better watch out if Asesino loses the cage match. You know what? If that SOB loses or wins the cage match, I'm going to have eyes in the back of my head, because I do not feel like getting kicked again. And Papa Smokes, drop your Twitch in the chat. It's impossible to find. I'll get that for you very shortly there, Bret. Just hang tight. Is that Fluffy in the chat? Andre C is in the chat, brother. That is him. Yes, you can reach out to him there. He is going to be there. I put that on the screen. I was going to do this. Going to go ahead and copy that little Twitch part there from Papa Smokes, so that Bret can then go check out all the amazing Papa Smokes action that's going over in the world of Twitch these days.
Yeah, I don't have much up on my channel, and I don't have too many followers. I don't think my presence on Twitch is super strong if you're trying to find my name, but hopefully with the exact address you could get to it. I need all the followers I can get.
You bet. Yeah, go give him a follow there, Bret, over on the Twitch side of things. That would be excellent. But man, Papa Smokes, it's going to be a lot of PPW coming up. So we don't want to spend all night talking about PPW. But we want to talk about Western Canada. In fact, we're going to be talking about a company, goes by the call letters NEW. That stands for Nation Extreme Wrestling. And they are out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Just a couple of provinces over to the west from right here in Saskatoon. And we're going to be talking about their show, The Final Testament, here tonight. So we're going to get into that in just a short bit. But before we do, I think Papa Smokes is going to give you a little bit of the lay of the land, a little bit of the background on British Columbia and where this event took place.
Okay, for sure. But before I do that, I want to just leave a couple of comments here about researching this particular episode.
Yeah, for
God damn, man. When you type in to a search engine NEW or New Wrestling, the first 868 trillion results are the what's happened new in WWE. So this makes research quite a lot more difficult. Now, when you put in Final Testament added to that, you get a lot of pictures of Karrion Kross and Paul Ellering. Let me tell you, I had to sift through quite a few things to find some information about this company. So, call names are just slightly unfortunate for the researcher who's trying to look up the company, but I got somewhere, so let's see what we got here. All right, we're over in the west here. This is what I love, Munson. Western Canada. This is where we're from. We're Prairie boys out on the other side of the mountains, but this is British Columbia, a large and beautiful province in Canada. Now, Vancouver is a lovely, lovely city. It's on the Pacific Northwest coast. It has a population of just under 3 million. And if you've ever been there, I would call it the gem of the Canadian West because it is a nice city. Munson, have you been there before?
I've been to Vancouver, yes. Back last time I was there, I believe was about 2016, 17 in there, something along those lines. Anyway, it's been a while. And I mean, again, it depends sometimes where you go. I mean, just like any city in Canada, if you go into the heart of the downtown, it's not the prettiest. But when you get to the certain areas, and I know what you're talking about, it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, very much so. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. And it was originally on the land of the Squamish people. It was founded as a city around the tavern of a famous Vancouver celebrity named Gassy Jack, who had the first bar there, and the whole city grew around Gassy Jack's bar, hence the name Gastown, one of the trendier, fancier areas of the city now. That's where it grew out from in the first place. Its main industries are forestry, the port, and tourism. And it's a very vibrant city in Canada, very beautiful city. That English Bay is a great area. You can see seals, you can see orcas and whales of all kinds. You can take the ferry out to Vancouver Island, which is a very geographically beautiful place as well. And like you say, there are big city problems in Vancouver, but wow, lots of beauty, lots of old growth forest, trees. There's so many meters around, gigantic old growth forest trees. The University of British Columbia is a beautiful campus. I go there every time I go to the city. They've got an awesome art gallery, a great multicultural scene going on there of all kinds of art and culture. And this NEW show being held at Wise Hall. It's on the downtown east side, which, Munson, as you know, is a mixed area, as lots of downtowns are in big cities. Just off Hastings Avenue. Hastings is a mixed street as well, depending on which end you go to. This is right downtown, but right in the heart of matters. Wise Hall couldn't find much information about it, but from watching that show, it looks like it's got a capacity maybe a little bit bigger than what we run at PPW in. So I would say maybe a 400 to 500 person capacity, excuse me, for wrestling. So not bad. And didn't the crowd and the venue look nice on this video?
Very much so. Yeah, I loved it. Going to pause for just a second to go back to the chat here, Papa Smokes, because Astra joined us during that conversation. Astra, hello. Thank you for joining us here on Ring Respect Radio. And even better, Anthony Manzano, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then, hi, guys. I just subscribed with the channel. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. Welcome aboard. This is Ring Respect Radio.
Buddy.
Myself and Papa Smokes here. We are commentary team for Prairie Pro Wrestling, and we do a lot of coverage of indie professional wrestling here on Ring Respect Radio. And we also do some fun and games with live wrestling trivia. And we do once a month Bret Martinez's favorite show, A Trip Through the Territories, where we talk about the territory days of professional wrestling. So glad you're able to join us. Hope you enjoy this show and hope you enjoy everything else offered right here at our local establishment. So yeah, going back to this Papa Smokes, NEW's Final Testament, it looked beautiful. I liked the layout. I liked the setup. They've got a nice ring. They got a nice presentation. I like the edits that they do on YouTube. They don't do the whole everybody comes down to the ring, gets the full entrance, anything like that. They cut it down to just the meat of the matter. They kind of get that first little bit of an introduction at the top of the ramp, and then boom, boom, you're on to the next person. Boom, boom, you're into the mat. So they cut it a little bit short to go for that little bit more, audience retention on YouTube, I would say, is what the aim is. And it's a very smart play by NEW. So from one person who does editing for these types of shows to another, kudos to you for going that direction, because I see your game and it works. It definitely works. It's not everybody's choice to go that way. I mean, we obviously do it different ourselves, but this is NEW's way, and that's what gives them their own voice. And I just wanted to give that a bit of a shout out here before we get started.
That's a really good point too, because that editing also keeps the match times to what they are organically. I appreciated NEW for keeping it to that, because when you look at the videos on this playlist, almost all of them were under 15 minutes. That's with entrances and introductions, and then some small fallout at the end of the matches, or watching the wrestlers leave the ring at the end. Under 15 minutes. So a lot of these matches were around 10, 11, 12 minutes. That's good time for wrestling matches. That's not taking them too long. And also, audience retention, I think, too, is a good thing. Sometimes I look at these playlists and all the matches are over 20 minutes and over 25 minutes. It's too much, I think. So I agree with this strategy as well.
Coming right from the mouths of two guys who just called a 26-minute tag team match that's coming up on EPW in a couple of weeks. But we'll get talking about that a little bit later. How about we talk about the matches from Final Testament? And again, this is one of those ones, it's laid out on the playlist. I shared the playlist in the chat. Go check out NEW, the Final Testament. Go check them out on YouTube. Give them a subscribe as well, too. Support indie wrestling. This one, again, it's definitely not in order of how this event went down, Papa Smokes. And I think you couldn't really tell one match was here, one match was there, but that's the way it's uploaded. We're going to call it the way that the playlist went out. I think is the best way to go about this one.
Yep.
All right.
That's how I'm organized here too. So let's do it.
All right. So we started things off on this playlist where we had the NEW Tag Team Championship match. It's Duv and Dangerous taking on the tag team champions, the Illa Tribe. And again, they talked about Duv and Dangerous coming in and these being a couple of rough boys, tough boys. This is kind of one of the new faces of the tag team division in NEW coming about and wanting a crack at the champions, the long reigning defending champions, the Illa Tribe. Again, this one started off where it all outside the ring. The match didn't spill into the ring until partway of there. A lot of beat down outside. So that first little bit, a lot of chaos on the outside there. But once they got into the ring and the tag team portion of this actually started to really take shape, I like these two teams, Papa Smokes. There was a lot to be said, and this was one of the stronger matches on this card for me. I really did enjoy what they brought to the table. I thought that they really did an excellent job of making Duv and Dangerous looking very, very much like a top team that belongs in that tag title picture and looking like a team at many times throughout this thing that we're going to upset the champions and walk away with the belts. Now, they didn't, but it only was by a surprise pinfall by the champions, and commentary even saying the champions stole one over the challengers here tonight. That's the key word right there. They stole one over the challengers. That's not usually the case that you hear, but Duv and Dangerous definitely going to be looking for another crack, and we saw that with the beatdown that they laid it down afterwards. Again, I like both teams, but Duv and Dangerous caught my attention very, very well in this matchup.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there too. And keep in mind, all you listeners here too, we're watching this company for the first time. I think Munson, you and I have both heard of a number of these wrestlers before, even seen a couple of their matches, but a lot of this was new to me. So it's fun to watch some new talent. And yes, the commentators kind of caught us up on the situation a little bit. These two tag teams have been having a few run-ins over the last few weeks and the last few shows that they've thrown. There's quite a bit of heat between the two, so of course this match was going to start fast and to the outside, like you mentioned. I agree with you that Duv and Dangerous looked awesome in this match, and I think that was the that was the intention with the booking and the psychology in this match. Duv and Dangerous obviously made to be looking like they're as strong or stronger than the current champions, the Illa Tribe, who are pretty cool and pretty fine looking tag team in their own right. But you could see that this match was laid out to favor Duv and Dangerous, and they came within a hair's breadth of winning those belts that night. But Illa Tribe holding on. You got to think in the future, Duv and Dangerous have every chance to win these titles and to beat the Illa Tribe if given the right opportunity. So got to keep our eyes on that one. I could make that prediction that that's going to happen, and it really looks quite likely.
Yeah, and again, I'll be happy to watch that one back as well, too, because they got put on a great match here. Great introduction for me to this company. Again, I've seen and heard little bits from NEW, and I'll admit I haven't sat down and watched a full show until this time. So when I say it's my first in with them, I know of them. I've seen some clips and stuff online. I've never sat down and watched it. So this really is the first time we take it all in. And this was a great way to kick it off on the YouTube side of things, because this was a high energy, good, strong way to start off a show. So kudos to them. I don't know the placement on the actual card itself, but in terms of the release on YouTube, this one really picked up the energy for me. Next matchup, we got to talk about Papa Smokes. We have got Zero G taking on Eddy Ross. These are two guys I knew nothing about, and apparently Zero G is quite new and quite interesting, because there was a lot. And I got to say, this crowd was pretty hot throughout most of the night, but this matchup in particular, man, were they hot for Zero G in this thing. Like, they were just determined not to allow Eddy to have any momentum. Eddy Ross, every time that he would get anything in, there was just a sea of booze for him. And every time Zero G had to do nothing more than throw a punch, and the pops and the rowdy crowd that you could see leaping out of their chairs and cheering for this guy. And the commentary keep telling us, like, this guy is new. Like, this is one of the biggest pops and biggest rises they've seen for a new face at NEW before. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, like, this wasn't my favorite match on the card by any means, but my curiosity in Zero G grew. Don't love the name. It doesn't jive perfectly with me, but to each their own. But Zero G caught my attention because I like, there's something about him. There's something charismatic about him, and he is sharp inside that ring, and that crowd really made me go, I want to pay more attention to Zero G.
Sure. And I was curious also because seemed clear from the commentary and such that the company's giving him a push, no question, and he deserves it. He does have a certain chemistry and all that. At the same time, he kind of felt like he was in over his head in this match in terms of experience. Now, sometimes that's not a bad thing. Dirty Eddy Ross was quite an effective heel, I thought, and you could see that he was a veteran of wrestling. He has that presence in the ring where he's got very much confidence. He doesn't pause. He doesn't second guess any of his moves. He does them all crisp, short, impactful little moves. Some nice rule breaking, which I like to see. He had his manager and stablemate out at ringside with him, so you knew there was probably going to be some shenanigans from them. And these two put on a nice match. Zero gravity, hence his name, really getting into the aerial maneuvers and the flips and the dives and all that kind of thing. Eddy Ross, the opposite of that. The kind of guy where his big spots are like a thumb in the eye or a little chopping punch to the throat. Simple, effective. I like it. Doing stuff behind the referee's back. Some effective heel work from Eddy Ross. And then, of course, having having the henchman in his corner was just bad news for Zero G. Also, he had to fight off those guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, quite an interesting wrestler. I mean, I thought, clearly, like you're saying, Eddie Ross, clearly the veteran in this situation and everything like that, and I do like that. I figured it was going to be your cup of tea there with the rule breaking and the cheating and the name, the dirt. As soon as he comes out and his nickname is Dirty, I was like, oh, this is the kind of guy that Papa Smokes is going to be doing a little raving about at the end of the night.
Yes. The crowd all knew him too, right? Like, we're new to this company, but the crowd was, the second he got out there, was just all over Eddie Ross. They've seen him do some nefarious stuff in the past, no question. So effective heel work here. This match probably occurring around the middle of the card. You get the feeling that Ross has been all over the card in the past in NEW, probably at the top for a while too.
Oh yeah, very much so. So yeah, it was great to see, and I got to give that crowd props, because if there's one clear thing that happened throughout this night, that crowd let you know who was the baby face and who was the heel in every single one of these matches that happened. There was no questioning it at all. So after that, I think, you know what? I actually just realized I think I skipped a couple of matches in between from the order that was on YouTube. So I apologize to everybody out there.
You did.
Yeah, I really messed that up. So let me go far back. So that match was yeah, I know. I mean, you know what? That's the problem with having a few drinks and a few, before we go live. Things are going to happen. Bobby's going to click the wrong button and we're going to get messed up. But how about we talk about the actual second match on the playlist, Papa Smokes, that took place between Miles Deville and Cole Rivera. One thing I'll say about this is commentary started going about how this was going to be the matchup that's going to contain all of the high-flying moves. This was going to be the spot matches. They were trying to sell it to me, and I'm like, all right, I got to get in the mentality for this. And then I'm watching, I'm like, and there's a lot more wrestling and punching in this matchup than I expected for a match that they were calling to be the high spot type, high-flying type show. Nothing wrong with that. That's fine. These guys were perfectly okay in the ring. They did a decent enough job and everything like that. I didn't mind this. It was pretty good between these two guys. Not too much crazy shenanigans or anything like that. Just down and to the point. I thought Cole Rivera was quite interesting. Liked the work from Cole Rivera throughout this thing too. Same with Miles Deville. A lot of good that could be said about both these guys.
For sure. And you and I have come across Miles Deville before in our reviews of Western Canadian wrestling. He's been around the block a few times as well. This was a pretty solid match. Nothing tremendously exciting about it. Like you said, there was a whole ton of striking in this. This was one of those matches where they were going to go chest to chest and just try and see who can make it through the storm of each other's chops and all that. It had the feel of a grudge match. Again, we don't know the build up to this or the history between these two guys, but this match kind of came across like a grudge match. There was some outside of the ring action and some brawling and a lot of stuff like that. This match ended with Miles Deville quite intent on hitting his finisher called the Miles Clash, which is exactly the Styles Clash, but he changed the name to his own name, which is fine. There's only so many moves to use in wrestling, but solid match. This match struck me as not a lot of working in it. By that, I mean, this was all spots and ring work the entire way. There wasn't a lot of interaction with the crowd. The referee had no involvement in this match. There were no seconds or cornermen doing anything in this match. This was just a ring work match. For that, it was pretty solid. Not tremendously exciting, but a perfectly solid match. Again, I would put this one on first or second on the card. Not sure where it actually occurred, but some action, and the fans totally appreciated this and got into this one.
Fair enough. Now, I don't obviously pause too often from the main topic here, Papa Smokes, but because Anthony is a new subscriber, a new chatter here tonight, we're going to give Anthony this one that's off topic here for just a moment. So let's detour back to this. Pretty sure both of you are fans of Bret and Owen Hart. Yes, sir. Do you feel who's the better overall wrestler? For him, Owen. but he didn't get the TV time like Bret. I think Owen came later, right? Like, because Owen's younger, he came along later. I think that's probably why not as much TV time at first. I think inevitably he did start to get the TV time and everything like that. Overall wrestler, I mean, it's tough. They're both very close. They're both two of the absolute best. I mean, that's very, very clear. But I think Bret is the better in-ring worker overall. I think that Owen owns him on charisma. I think that's where Owen would own Bret a little bit on that. But how can you really take much away? I mean, it's like it's a point here or there. They're both fucking incredible, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a close one. If you're going to go with overall wrestler, I would still have to give it to Bret because overall includes promo as well. And Owen's promos.
Oh, we lost Papa Smokes. Is Bret saying charisma? Yeah, Owen had a lot of charisma. Bret had it all, but I'd say Owen had a little extra on the charisma side. I've met Owen before, and I mean, he does have a lot of charisma, man. Like he is a charismatic dude. But yeah, sorry, back to you, Papa Smokes. You jumped out.
Oh, good. Right in the middle of my spiel. But I was going to say, I think that some of Owen's personality worked against him a little bit. He was never serious. He joked around so much, and he was so lighthearted that I think people didn't take him as seriously as Bret. And I think he didn't have that seriousness, or as some say, that gravitas that you need to be a champion. The kind of attitude and the kind of persona that has that seriousness that says, yeah, I can beat anyone. I can be the best in the world. I'll go down into those deep, dark places within myself in order to win or retain a championship. Owen just was so much more lighthearted than that. And I honestly think that took away from his whole wrestling mystique, so to speak.
And that's a very fair assessment. I mean, when we're making a conversation like this about two of the absolute best, I mean, we're not even knocking one or the other because trust me, both guys gave years and years and years of great in-ring and great entertainment value throughout their entire careers. But like Bret's saying, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm downgrading Bret. It's just I feel more gravity towards Owen because he feels more like lucha libre style technical. And if that's your jam, like, I mean, totally get it. Again, that's where we're, this isn't really a big debate. It's more of a, I prefer this versus I prefer this, but these two guys, we could put them on the mantle as two of the best that ever did it. And that's just how it is. So, I mean, it's a great conversation to have, and I'll be happy to have conversations about Bret and Owen and how fantastic they were and the great things they left in the world of professional wrestling anytime. But we do got to move on a little bit from there to talk more about NEW, Papa Smokes. Going to the next match after this, and oh boy, Papa Smokes, I alluded to it when we went live that a potential match of the year, potential top quality match across any company took place on this show, and boy, did it ever. Oh my God, if you guys listening into the chat, watch it on replay, don't do anything but for this company, but go and watch this one match, then go and watch this one single match. I'm not gonna lie, obviously not only my favorite match of the night, but one of my favorite matches I have watched this year, period. We had a matchup between Australia's Ricky South taking on Travis Williams. Travis Williams, one of the biggest names here in Western Canadian professional wrestling, Pop Smokes, as we'd seen him in TNA wrestling. He's good and traveling the world. He's a well-known name, but Ricky South is a name I know too, because I've seen some of his work coming out of Australia before, and he looks even better than he's ever looked walking into this thing. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be good. I went in with the intention it was going to be good, and then they took my intention and they said, hold my beer, we're going to make it that much better, because Jesus Christ, these guys, they put it all on the line in this matchup. Great technical wrestling, great back and forth, absolutely dynamite. There wasn't a moment in this match where I went, all right, boys, it's time to wrap it up. I was like, man, I want more. These guys were fucking fantastic throughout this entire show. I can't rave enough about how much I like this. Ricky South got the big win here too as well. Coming in as the new person inside of NEW, and he gets this big win over Travis Williams. You can run this bound back 100 times, and I will continue to watch it. Love this matchup.
Well, this was the kind of match you could run back a number of years, too, and it would have fit in in the territory system and in any era in wrestling, really, because they threw an actual pro wrestling match on this card and didn't care about pops and big spots and anything like that. This was some old-fashioned wrestling, and they grappled for a long time at the beginning of this. And I know this isn't really the preferred style of a lot of modern-day wrestling fans, but this was a throwback for all of us guys that appreciate this style and the technical aspect of it and the holds and the reversals and the pinning attempts and it was just awesome. If I wanted to compare this match to a match that maybe more of the modern fans might know, I would liken it to something like Lord Steven Regal versus Bryan Danielson, like that kind of a thing, where the guys know each other, they're grappling really good with each other. It's like a good MMA or jiu-jitsu sparring match with each other, and they go hard. It doesn't break down until halfway through the match. Does anyone really throw a punch? But the holds and the reversals, very, very good. Some limb work, some body work, and all that great grappling that we love. Not only just starting the match, but it continued all the way through. And for me, this looked like a real struggle between two wrestlers, which really appeals to me in this day and age.
It really does. Anthony bringing up the question, do you guys feel this company is what Maple Leaf Pro was at the height of its popularity? No, sir. And that's not a knock to them at all. It's nothing like that. It's because at the height of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, they were a top territory and they were doing big business. So again, and you're talking about the large names that were through there. I like what we saw from NEW, and I mean, I applaud all independent pro wrestling, but it's hard to compare apples to apples when talking about the territories versus independent wrestling as it stands today. I love independent wrestling as it stands today. Love what the territories were doing. I think it's two different things, hard to compare, but I wouldn't say it's at the height of it because the audiences aren't nearly as big. But then again, wrestling in general, not nearly as big as it was during the territory days for that matter too.
Yeah, for sure. And Maple Leaf being run with WWF stars at that time, it's quite a different thing. But NEW, no shade out to those guys. They got a nice, vibrant little promotion going. I say little promotion. I think that's probably one of the bigger companies in British Columbia, might possibly the biggest one. So they got a good thing.
Western Canada, I think, actually.
Yeah, I think probably, and they got a good thing going there, and I could see them getting bigger. I was reading some stuff online, and it sounds like some fans do the drive from Seattle and area up to Vancouver. It's not that long. You can drive it in an hour and a half kind of thing. And just like fans from Vancouver go down to Seattle, watch some Seahawks games, watch some Mariners games, that sort of thing. And fans come up and watch hockey from the States. Well, now Seattle's got a hockey team too, but same thing. A lot of the fans come from the States up there. And then also the commentators talked about NEW sharing talent with Portland, which we all know is a pretty good wrestling city on the West Coast. So both companies benefiting from that for sure.
And I like Anthony's comment here. When I look at Travis Williams, he reminds me a little bit of Nigel McGuinness and Ricky. I see a lot of mixture of Steven Regal and Brad Riggins. So yeah, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit. Yeah, Brad Riggins. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, and just wanted to say the Western States Sports episode was fantastic, shining light on forgotten Texas wrestling. Appreciate you, Bret. Appreciate you loving
what
we're tossing down.
Thanks,
again, too. Not too far away. It's either going to be the night before Halloween or, that's something we'll talk about at the end of the show. We'll get there. Okay. We got more NEW to talk to you about, and we will get to some of the stuff that's coming up here before the night is through. So yes, we already talked about Zero G versus Eddy Ross. So now we're heading to the next match, Papa Smoke, and it is for the full queer championship. This is the match between Elliot Ross and Richie Coy. This was interesting. The champ is very, very unique in style and stuff throughout this matchup and everything like that, where the challenger, almost a completely different style, a little bit more grounded style to what the champion with. There's very clashing styles between these two individuals throughout this match. It was good. It wasn't again, not my favorite match on the card, but I mean, I'm curious to see more. I'm curious to see who else is in this division, to see what kind of matches line up for the champion. Again, the champion's got a dynamite amount of charisma as well, too. Like, the fans were popping huge for the champ. Can see why that this is someone that they want as the face of this division there in NEW.
Yeah, and you could see this match was kind of like a special interest type match. It was going to probably went right before the intermission, something like that. I'm trying to imagine where it was on the card, but yeah, this one didn't quite do it for me either. It was, yeah, I agree with you. It was a clash in styles. The chemistry wasn't quite there. The meshing of their wrestling styles just didn't really end up happening. They're both perfectly good wrestlers, no problem with that whatsoever. But whatever went wrong, maybe with the layout of this match or the execution somewhere, or just, everybody has an off night as well. This didn't come off as well as it could have, but still, it's an interesting concept to have on your card, and you could see that the crowd enjoyed this tremendously. So they again, we're new to this, so we haven't seen these wrestlers before, but the crowd was into it. They enjoyed it, so that's basically the main thing of it for sure.
You bet. Anthony asking, was there a company in Canada similar to what you saw with WCCW in Texas, where basically one family ran promotion and the sons were all baby faces? I was going to say Stampede until he added, but anywhere else they were bad guys, because I don't know that the Hart brothers were necessarily bad guys anywhere else they went until much deeper into their careers and not running with Stampede anymore. I would say, but definitely in terms of the sons being the baby faces of the company, Stampede takes that one for Canada.
But don't forget, Munson, we've covered Montreal as well, and don't forget about the Rougeaus. That was exactly the case for them. They were good-looking, young, French-speaking wrestlers in Quebec, so they were extremely popular there, and they always ran as baby faces in Quebec because they could speak French to the fans and have that bond there. But look, everywhere else the Rougeaus went, they were arrogant assholes everywhere they went, and then you remember their run in WWF as the Quebecers and the Mounties and all that. They were hated heels completely. So I think that might fit the bill of what he was asking.
Yeah, you got strong call there, Papa Smokes. 100% agree with you there. Back to NEW. We got a few more here to talk about. Up next, we had intergender wrestling action as Amira in action. I like that the commentary told us, like, again, Amira was already great, but then she went over to Japan. She's done a run in Japan. She's now come back better than ever. The crowd seems to absolutely love and adore Amira. All right, we're ready. We're good to go. And then she is taking on, in this matchup, I believe it was supposed to be somebody else, but then she ends up taking on Rashad, and Rashad was put in there, to basically make Amira go over, kind of thing. Poor Rashad did nothing wrong, but you could tell by the booking, Rashad's position was to be in there right now to build up Amira's credibility in NEW as well, too. Like, Rashad got his shit in, don't get me wrong, but Amira got lots of her stuff in throughout this matchup and took probably a good, I'd say 70-75% control of the entire matchup, looked sharp throughout it, and got a big win as well, too.
And even Rashad had a manager that was joining the commentary team during this, and even his manager was kind of downplaying Rashad's status in his own faction there too. So Rashad kind of with an uphill battle here that he was not going to win whatsoever. But like you said, no question about what this match was intended to be. It was a trampoline for Amira back from her time in Japan, a successful tour, as they said. Big time babyface in this company. It also kind of appears from this particular card like they don't have a ton of ladies to use on their cards. With a lack of a full-on ladies match, they had to use Rashad as the job guy here, but not too bad. 8-minute match did the trick for me. Maybe not as long as it could have been, but Rashad took all of Amira's offense and then some, and still looked not too bad in the whole grand scheme of things. But man, Amira taking the win, getting all of her stuff over to the fans big time. Then after the match, Rashad's faction comes in and starts laying a beat down on Amira, and Evan Rivers, who apparently is a wrestler we haven't seen in some time, comes in to make the save from the heels, and he got quite a pop, and he looks like he's a serious wrestler as well. So there's somebody to watch for the future too, Evan Rivers.
Can't wait. Anthony, we're going to get back to the talk about Brad Riggins in just a bit here. We're going to wrap up a little bit on the NEW side first. We got two more, I believe, to talk about here, Papa Smokes, at both of them championship matchups. Up next, we have got the NEW championship matchup to talk about. The NEW champion, that is Sebastian Wolfe, defending his belt against Damien Desire. And they said this was Damien Desire's first time in an NEW ring getting a championship matchup right away. I got to say, right off the start, absolutely hilarious when Damien Desire is having his name announced by the ring announcer, the female ring announcer. I apologize, I forgot her name. It was said many times throughout the night. But as Damien Desire is getting his name announced there by the announcer, he stands in front of her and he pulls off the uniform that he is currently wearing. And he kind of does this little bit of a jiggle as he's standing up. And I mean, she played it out brilliantly too, with fanning herself off with her cards that she had in front of herself as Damien Desire showboats a little bit of that body in front of her. But yes, go into this matchup against a very well-seasoned person who I've seen a fair amount of his matchups because I have searched them out. I'm a fan of his work. Sebastian Wolfe, the champion over there. And man, you could tell not only is Sebastian Wolfe a top guy with what he brought inside this ring, but for a first time in this ring and someone I hadn't heard of, Damien Desire, man, he brought it. This was solid. I liked this matchup. This was a really good championship matchup, and it did a really good showing of showcasing Damien Desire as a credible contender in the top of NEW with a very first matchup. They took a first opportunity to smash somebody over, not quite the smashing them over in the sense of picking up a win and getting the championship, but not looking like a chump up against the champion and just barely coming up short. Just barely, to the point where you could see the look in Sebastian Wolfe's face as he walked away with the belt, almost a little stunned, a little shocked about the quality of what Damien Desire brought to the ring tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And there was no mystery about what this match was supposed to get across, too, was not only Sebastian Wolfe looking dominant as champion, but as a springboard for Damien Desire to get his name out there a little bit. I couldn't shake the feeling throughout this match, even throughout the very introductions and such, that it looked like a bit of a mismatch. You could see who the real experienced wrestler was and who looked a little more green around the edges. I mean, no offense to Damien Desire whatsoever. Everybody's got those first years in the business where they're still learning their way and getting their timing down perfectly and everything. But they turned this into a good match. It was laid out very cleverly throughout the thing. Damien Desire jump-started it as the heel character in it. Jump-started it, started brawling into the front. This was one part I liked, Munson. In all these matches on this NEW card, the fans on that one side, the side where the side opposite the ramp, those fans are regulars. They know when to get the hell out of the way because the seats are fairly close up to the aisle between the ring, and there's not a crowd barrier between them either. So it's very elastic between the action outside the ring and the fans in that front row. So they're very savvy. I was laughing about this. They're quite savvy. They know when to get the hell out of the way when there's a big spot coming. And the commentators even referred to that area right in the middle on that side in the front rows as the splash zone. That's quite funny. That's quite hilarious. I might have to borrow that for my side of the ring doing camera work for PPW. That's definitely our splash zone. And I'm going to find that out again with the Battle Royal coming up. But
you bet. Yeah, the bodies hit the floor all the time out there.
Oh, hell yeah. But that just made me feel good about the fans too, is, oh yeah, we know the drill here. We always come to this. We always get front row tickets, and we know when to scatter when the boys are flying out with some tope suicidas and a few other crazy moves to the outside. But yeah, this was pretty good. Damien Desire looked good. He kept his side of it up. Sebastian Wolfe was clearly in control of this match. You could see him calling it. You could see they had a couple chats in the corner a couple of times where Sebastian Wolfe said, "It's all good, kid. Slow down a little bit. Like keep her coming, keep her coming." You can hear that kind of thing when you're looking forward in a wrestling match. The guys will have a little chat, and that's good because Wolfe is leading the younger wrestler and giving him experience and showing him the way. Slow down and let's just keep a good pace going on this match. We'll both get through it, no problem. So the kid, Damien Desire, went on a nice run late in the match, but Wolfe, benefiting from that superior experience and ring knowledge, hits the big spear into the Tiger Driver and the pinfall. This match somewhere around 12 or 13 minutes. Again, for a championship match, very good, not overboard at all. This is as much time as they really needed to get this match over, and no more time needed with a whole bunch of false finishes or other gaga throughout this match. Nice 12-minute match. The champ goes over. Not a surprise in the outcome of this match, but a nice little springboard for Damien Desire to get a good match in here, a higher profile match probably than he's used to, and some experience in there with one of the veterans. That this will help him immensely as his career goes on.
You bet. And as we were talking about that, Anthony's asking if by chance is Damien Desire the sort of like a overweight kind of guy like the current Rush champion of OVW who clearly does not meet the division's weight limit, but plays up like he's under a certain weight class. No, not quite the same. And since then, Anthony's looked up highlights of Damien, but says looks more like kind of reminds him of one of the Natural Born Thrillers is what he's saying here tonight. So a lot of good references here coming in from our friend Anthony joining us for the first time here.
Hell yeah.
Last match we need to talk about here, Papa Smokes, especially as we're getting near the top of the hour here very shortly, is the Prestige Championship on the line, making its way up from Portland, Oregon, like you said. This World Championship being contested in a triple threat match. The champion, Judas Icarus, taking on Cody, Chhun, and Casey Ferreira. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I think this is no fault to anybody involved. These were three quality guys that just so happen to be in a triple threat match, and I'm burnt the fuck out on triple threat matches lately, Papa Smokes. I really am. I'm trying to find the desire to watch them a little bit more because they're everywhere, and I think I'm just getting burnt out on them. No fault to any of these guys. What they brought inside the ring at the times that they were in the ring together, it was quality. These are quality wrestlers doing a quality job. I'm just burnt out on the style of the matchup itself.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that as well. And the whole setup of a triple threat match, just that one wrestler is constantly laying and selling on the outside for sometimes up to 5 minutes at a time while the other guys just have a one-on-one match. What's the goddamn point then? I get it. That's the structure of the match. And if you want to use the three guys, that's the way you're going to do it, then do a three-way. That's fine and everything, but they're not usually to my taste. There was nothing wrong with this match and nothing wrong with any of these guys. Cody, Chhun, and Casey Ferreira were good. They lacked a certain pizzazz and a certain panache to me. Like they didn't sell me on their personalities. They didn't have anything that would make me remember them so much. Now Judas Icarus, we've watched this guy a few times. He's successful wrestler across Canada, especially in the West here. He's got something. He's got an intensity and a charisma to him. He was clearly the more experienced wrestler out of these, so he's a better worker. And by worker, of course, I mean interacting with the fans and with the referee and with his opponents, not just the ring work, but in the ring work, he was clearly the best in this match too. Came out on top, retained his title. This was a match that happened and had a bunch of moves in it. Icarus looking good and going over as he should, I think. And yeah, it was a match on the card and it happened.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right on all accounts there. Judas Icarus, a big name on the independent scene, traveling all across North America, probably outside of North America as well, too. One of the hottest names, the most sought after names, my apologies, in the indie scene. But yeah, that's New Testament from the Final Testament from Nation Extreme Wrestling, NEW, Papa Smokes. Final thoughts on this program, and our NEW now a part of the Ring Respect collection of shows we are going to take our chance to review at times.
Well, I think they could be and should be probably. I'm excited about doing some more Canadian content on this podcast because we can get the names of some of the up and coming Canadian talent out there. And I mean, we work for Prairie Pro Wrestling, but they have a connection with NEW as well because we have talent that perform for them. I know Zoe Sager is well known in NEW wrestling, and I think Rose
and Blaze,
Stephen Crow, a few other people also do shots there too. So it's not like we have a talent sharing agreement with them or anything like that, but some of our wrestlers also perform there. So cheers to our Canadian companies. Cheers to NEW out in Vancouver. I like it. We're jumping in on it the first time. It's a little bit overwhelming because we don't know some of the history and we don't know some of these wrestlers. But I'm feeling good about this company. They got a quality product out there. The commentary was good. The behind the scenes editing and camera work and all that kind of stuff was good. Like the venue that they were at this time, like the crowd, and like their presence on YouTube as well. So let's do it. I say we look into more cards from NEW as we continue to discover some more of the indie talents on these Canadian shows.
Much obliged, Papa Smokes. I agree. Let's do it. And kudos to NEW for putting out their content for free on YouTube. Make sure you go over there, give them a subscribe on their YouTube channel to support indie wrestling, especially in the Western Prairie provinces. But I said before, Papa Smokes, before we get to the top of the hour and say our goodbyes here, I wanted to mention that we got some cool shit coming up again next week. We've got that live wrestling trivia here on Ring Respect Radio, and it's all Prairie Pro Wrestling themed, followed by Thursday the 23rd, 2 days before PPW's Ring of Horrors. We're doing our all PPW Ring of Horrors special. It lead up, it's going to be all a preview show, so stay tuned for that. Now, we originally mentioned the 30th being the next trip through the territories, and I really don't want to break Bret's heart and say it won't be, but I'm torn here, Papa Smokes. So we have to play it by ear. It will be the next one unless our friends over at SPW New Zealand's Halloween Haunting comes out that week, because they also on the 25th have their show coming out, and we know notoriously their quick turnaround getting those shows out on YouTube. So if it happens to land before the 30th, we will cover SPW's Halloween Haunting here that we on the 30th, which would be much appropriate considering it's one day before Halloween. And then we would move Trip Through the Territories to the 6th of November. Otherwise, if it doesn't come out, it'll be the reverse of that, is what I'm thinking. As long as we're cool with that there, Pop Smokes.
Oh, fine with me. I want to keep on top of SPW because that's another one of the indie companies that we kind of just jumped into in the middle of everything and just started watching. And man, it's been nothing but great wrestling and nothing but support and making friends with those cool wrestlers down in New Zealand there. That's been a really, really good time. So I want to keep up with SPW, no question about it.
Mangler saying thanks for keeping me company while I made lasagna. Hey, what a great combo. I agree. Anthony, again, I'll get one last comment from you because we do have to wrap up here because we try to keep as tight to an hour as we possibly can. But I liked your one. Is there a young guy I should watch out for that WWE might tap for their ID program from this company without them being part of the WWE program? If they're going to tap anyone, I'd say they go after Travis Williams at a glance. But he's already in TNA, so I think he's already he's in that line of sight, if you ask me. And that's based on what we saw from this show.
Yeah, couldn't disagree with that at all. And he's one of those guys that he looks like he's could be have a really rich style because he's got such good grappling and everything. You could turn that around and change it into a different style if you wanted him to portray a different sort of character too, but he's always got that excellent grappling background to fall back on.
You bet. See you, Bret. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you, my friend. But yes, as we are just broken past the hour point. Anthony, thank you for all the comments. Please keep coming out to Ring Respect Radio every Thursday night and keeping that chat popping. Really do appreciate it. But in the meantime, in between time, Papa Smokes, that beautiful ticker is up there. Why don't you cost me a little money and tell the wonderful people where they can reach out to you and what you got coming up.
All right, people. Every Thursday night, I'm always here on this podcast, Ring Respect Radio, hosted by our local establishment podcasts, also on the Video Bros Network. Other than that, I am on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I am at Smokes_Papa. Also allegedly on Twitch at Papa_Smokes_. That's if you can even find it at that address.
Yeah. And Anthony also mentioning that when he brings up that he knows about Brad Riggins, people are shocked because he's so young at the age of 35 that older fans are surprised. You're not too much younger than me, my friend. I'm 42, but yes, I get it. I get it. Not everybody always knows, and a lot of the younger ones don't seek it out. Twitch is nowhere to be found, by the way, as we keep hearing from Bret, but he'll keep searching for Papa Smokes on the Twitch side. In the meantime, I am, Bobby Munson on the X, at Real Bobby Munson, Instagram and Threads, Video Bros SK. My Twitch is VideoBro_Bobby Munson. At Blue Sky, it's BobbyMunson.bsky.social. You can catch me, of course, here with Papa Smokes, like you said, every Thursday night. You can catch us every Saturday over on YouTube at Prairie Pro Wrestling. Yes, Prairie Pro Wrestling, where we bring you a new match every Saturday, where Papa Smokes and I are your commentary team for that show. You can also catch myself this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time here on OLE Podcast for Point of View, your favorite Sunday sports show, where we talk all about the weekend sports and talk about our NFL predictions as well as our fantasy football league as well, too. It's going to be a lot of fun. Join us for that. Everything can be found at OLE Podcast, so check us out across all the different socials as well, too, and tune in to Twitch and YouTube, where we appreciate a like, follow, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and leave us a comment in the comments section below. I also forgot to shout out that tomorrow there is also another episode of Killer Cuts coming out with myself and Astrid. Find out just how much we fucking hated The Strangers Chapter 2 tomorrow night on Killer Cuts. But that's going to be it for us here at Ring Respect Radio. We will see you in 1 week's time. Take care, everybody.